Adrian Jules was the first candidate we sat down with one-on-one. Overall, Jules spoke to North Korea, his first 100 days in office, a comment from Voted for May, news sources, negative campaigning, and possible vice presidents. But he also said that we need to work together and do what's best for America.
I think that North Korea, although they are a dangerous enemy, the smartest decision is not to completely just cut them off. My first 100 days would be about strengthening the American people. I believe that with how divided we are, it's the federal government's job to help unite the people. And if that's through rebuilding our social justice system, if that's providing more equal rights, if that's breaking the glass ceiling, then I think that should be what my first 100 days is all about. I think what happened yesterday was a misrepresentation of the relationship between Mr. May and I. I have a great deal of respect and admiration for Mr. May. I think that comment maybe was out of time, and maybe it was in the wrong frame of mind. At the end of the day, it's up to you. I think the advice that I can give is to expose yourself to different points of view. I take negative campaigning as sort of hate campaigning or trying to talk down upon your fellow candidate. I don't think that that's the way a campaign should be run. It's my duty to prove that I'm worthy, not to downplay my counterparts. I want someone who has a contrasting opinion to some of my own, just to kind of not even appeal to different voters, but just to kind of rein in someone that can counteract me, help me see maybe flaws. I also want him to be trustworthy, reliable.
Next up was candidate Michelle Scott. She spoke to her no-go comment from the debate, talked about fixing Social Security and raising the salary cap, meeting in the middle between a divided government, focusing on more than one news source, getting entire stories instead of just reading the title, and emphasizing how reliable Fox, CNN, and Daily Mail are opposed to smaller news sources. When asked if she was considering John F. Reagan as a VP candidate, she said that she likes him in the position he's in now.
First, what I would do to rebuild America is fix Social Security. So I think that addressing a drastic situation like that would have to occur at the time and look at the circumstances that we're in at that time. And know that, yes, it is a pressing issue, however, it may not be as extreme as one side of the story thinks that it is to start with Congress. We need to encourage bipartisanship and compromise and have people working on both sides of the argument. We should come to a consensus between the two, and that's what I believe that I can do. Include information and policies that accommodate for both sides. Well, I feel like people are going to consider it negative because people have been getting in arguments, but obviously when people have differing opinions, we're going to talk about those differing opinions. However, I do believe this is...
As for trusting the media, Clark suggests looking at one's sources and trusting the more reliable major news networks. During her first 100 days, she plans to begin working internally with small businesses and educators, and then expanding rights for women and minorities. Clark also stated that she wants to unify the government. Even though she's a liberal, she's open to listening to conservative ideas and creating agreeable policy. Nicole also told LRC that her campaigns had some thoughts on VP picks, but is still looking for an open-minded individual to fill the role.
There has been pushback saying that we don't trade with North Korea. We do trade with North Korea in small amounts, but North Korea relies on us much more than we rely on them. I would establish refugee camps in which we record each and every refugee that comes in. We do a background check as much as we can on them, and then from then we can disperse them to different countries based on quotas. Unless there was a pressing issue outside of the country, I would focus internally. I would work with small businesses, and I would work to make education. What I want to do is I want to listen to, I'm a liberal, I'm sure most of you know that, but I want to listen to conservatives, and I want to ask them, why do you believe this? And I want to take those ideas and I want to factor them into my policy. And I think that we can mostly trust the major news networks is to just take them and to react peacefully, but I don't want them to have necessarily the same exact policy platforms as I do, because I think the best thing is to listen to people.
Voter for May gave us information about and how he's going to work across the aisle so that his plans and legislation can benefit the people as a whole. Instead of calling people Democrats or Republicans, he just used the term American people. He commented about creating his own news source that would present down the middle, legitimate and non-biased news, similar to NPR.
First off, my main goal is to try to bring the country together as one. How we're gonna military spending and work on tax cuts. Apologize to Jewel. I didn't mean it as in he's a lady. I mean, like, you should let Michelle and Nicole go first. I feel that government's supposed to work as in the two views work together, and it's not, that doesn't happen now, compromising with the other opinions of everyone in government. Instead of having Fox and CNN, we need to make one that is very popular that brings both together, like NPR. The way people look at it is if they say negative, I feel like most of the people would say it as change, so they don't get their way.
Just to clarify, LRC fact-checked the candidate's statements from yesterday on North Korea. As you may or may not be able to see in this table, the US does, in fact, trade with North Korea. The 0.0 figures you see are based on millions of dollars, and US trade with North Korea is so nominal, $100,000 in exports doesn't even show up on this larger scale.